Hello! I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm having a few of them. Those were my Discord notifications. I forgot that you guys can hear them. I forgot to reconfigure my audio that you couldn't hear them. Yeah. Hi! Welcome! I'm sorry for the insane camera angle. This is, as you can see, we're kind of scuffed. Not sure if it's super clear and if people are even aware of my hiatus, but that was because I was moving, and I have moved. I am in a new location permanently. Rest in peace, my old apartment. I know you guys, at least most of you, had no idea what my apartment actually looked like, but that's fine. But spiritually, the space is different now. This is different. Though, honestly, this desk where I'm set up right now is not going to be my final resting place. I had to set up my tripod in, like, a really weird way to get it to fit here. Which is why we're at an insane angle right now. But I tried my best to fiddle with it. We're having some technical difficulties earlier, which is why I had a little bit of a delay. And why I may cut the stream a little short, because I'm still, as you can tell, moving is so hard. But I'll talk more about my moving once we get more into building Mr. Turne Gundam. I'm very happy. I talked about this. I've already started Mr. Turne. Here's... Oh my god, this lighting is insane. I haven't set up my lights yet, by the way. They're packed in some box that I have not unpacked yet. Ooh. The opposite way. I'm a little low. Look! Mr. Turne! He has a torso! But we're still working on... Ooh. Ooh. This setup is insane, but it's fine. It's fine. This is an awful angle. What's happening? Sorry. This is so scuffed right now, but it's fine. I have no idea what this piece... I don't think this piece is supposed to be in here. I had to move all of my Gunpla last week. I had to move all of my Gunpla, and I feel like as fellow Gunpla builders, there's some level of understanding, but, you know, everyone engages in this hobby in their own way, and a bit of engaging with this hobby is, like, insane. Also because my excuse is that I stream. That's my excuse. But I truly kind of don't have a good one. I just have so many. My pile is insane, and moving it was a little hellish. I think I brought this up a little bit. I started moving. I had the privilege of, like, moving in chunks, as I, again, don't want to dox myself, but where I'm moving to is, like, already a place, if that makes sense. Like, I could slowly move my stuff instead of just do it all in one day. We still had to do that. I still had to have, like, the big move day for basically all of my big furniture and stuff. But for the most part, all of my smaller odds and ends, like whatever can fit in my car, in the old Honda Civic, was kind of just like I could move at more my own pace, which was pretty nice actually. But it's still, it was still a huge struggle, because I kid you not, filled 3 IKEA bags with just Gunpla, with just boxes of Gundam. And I'm someone that hoards all the old boxes. I don't know about you guys, but I like to keep the old boxes even for finished Gunpla, just because I want to store, like, all the extra bits and just, like, to have the box just in case for things like this when I am moving. Like, this is not exactly the first time I've ever moved in my life. I've moved between, like, dorms and buildings and things for a while. I guess it's the first time I'm like moving. I'm like properly like this is my for context. This was my first apartment. Before this, I'd really only lived in like student housing or like my parents' house. I mean, yeah, everyone has, at least most people have lived in their parents' house. But before this, I really only lived in like student housing. Yeah, I really only lived in like student housing or like student apartments. But this was my first like apartment that I've lived in for like 2-3 years at, where I like, it's an apartment, it's completely independent, I paid the rent, I paid all the bills. It's not like it was paid for partially via like student loans or anything like, or scholarship or anything like that. It was just like, this is my apartment, I work a job, and I rent my apartment. And I pay my rent, and I pay my bills. And I, like, have a proper, like, kitchen and everything, and I do all of that. Very nice. I really did love my apartment. And so it's a little bittersweet to be leaving my apartment behind. I like have a lot of mixed feelings because it's my first apartment and I had grown quite attached to it. But I kind of already knew this was going to happen. It is simply the next phase of my life. And not that I dislike this new place. I really do like it a lot. But it's kind of just how people are and changes change, and it's going to be difficult no matter what, which is kind of funky because I've always considered myself someone that likes change. I'm not really the kind of person that can sit still. I like exploring. I like experiencing new things all the time. I always love picking up new hobbies and trying new experiences. And so I always thought of myself as someone that could move around somewhat easily, which was like, has been true for a good chunk of my life. Like even when I was like a kid with my family, we moved around a few times just as like part of life. And I don't know, I've always been like I've always been pretty good at just like being able to appreciate change and like enjoy change. I like change. I can't really like be too I guess I can't be too saying that I can't be too stable is kind of weird because I like stability. Obviously I am a human person, but when it comes to change I always like liked it, you know? Even when I was like moving between student housings and things like that, I always enjoyed it and I thought it was fun to like experience new things. But I think for right now, I don't know, man, something about it. It's me living my life as an adult, as a young adult. It's like a bit bittersweet. I'm like, on one hand, I like change and I like moving forward in this leg of my life, but also I liked my old apartment. It was nice. I had my little hobby room. And fun fact, I will still have a hobby room. I am planning to have, once again, a room dedicated to my streaming stuff and my hobby stuff. That will once again be the case. But the room that is going to be my like streaming and my hobby room is still like not even remotely in a state for me to stream in. Like I haven't even built my table again. Like I have no table there. I don't really have any of my table there like set up. Everything's still in boxes, everything's still being unpacked. Man, it's still so crazy to me. I had my apartment handoff like on Wednesday of this week. This is like 3 days ago. So I'm still unpacking, and it's again so crazy that I basically like have had to move my entire life from one place to another place. Because yeah, I guess the difference between like student housing and whatnot is I technically still like lived at my parents' house, so I could still like just keep stuff at my parents' house whenever I moved between like dorms and whatnot, but now I'm like, oh, this is my entire life. Like, everything that I own. This is everything that I own, that I must move from one place to another place. Kind of crazy. And I ended up having to, like, obviously get rid of a bunch of stuff and pare down my belongings and things like that. Don't worry, I would rather die than part with a lot of my Gunpla and my hobby stuff. Like, I would rather die than part with a lot of my Gunpla and my hobby stuff. Like, it's very dear to me. And thus, I ended up with 3 IKEA bags full of Gundam boxes of both built and unbuilt Gundam. And, like, I say 3 IKEA bags, that's not even, like, half of it. I had to make, like, 2 separate trips, basically, to carry all of my Gunpla. So technically, my collection was closer to 6 IKEA bags full, and it wasn't even, like, just IKEA bags. That was just the big stuff. There's also, like, smaller bags and, like, boxes, too, that I also filled with Gunpla-related things. Like, I have so many. It's crazy. And nothing makes you realize how much of something you have until you have to move it. But not once did I ever consider getting rid of any of it. Like, it's kind of funny. For most of my other things, I was like, yeah, I should probably, like, think about, like, when it came to, like, my clothes and stuff, I was like, well, I should probably think about what stuff I actually use and what clothes I actually, like, enjoy wearing and what stuff I've kind of just had for a while or what is, like, might be too worn out for me to still wear and stuff. And so I ended up donating, like, a ton of my clothes. But Gunpla, not once did I consider getting rid of any of it. I was like, absolutely not. And it made me think about, like, okay, let's say your house is burning down. Again, this is a hypothetical. Let's say your house is burning down and you can only save, like, an armful. Okay, that makes it too complicated. Let's say you can only save exactly, well, I can't even narrow it down to one. Let's say you can save exactly two kits. You can save exactly 2 model kits. We'll narrow it down to Gunpla, because I do also love other model kits, but if you could save exactly 2 of your Gunpla, what would you pick? What would be the 2 that you're like, I must offload all of my belongings? You must go into witness protection. I don't actually know how witness protection works, but I'm guessing this is how it works, that you just have to get rid of everything you own and start fresh. But for some reason, the FBI says you can keep exactly 2 kits. What are you keeping? What are you keeping? Like, what kits have just, like, the most value to you? Like, saying value is kind of weird, but just, like, what matters the most to you? I'm thinking, like, what would be my favorite kits that I'd, like, through thick and thin? Like, I am refusing to part with this. I'm thinking, like, because there's the ones that I've already built. Like, there's the Gunpla that I've already built, and there's the ones that I haven't built yet. But I'm assuming that this is all just, like, kind of, this is a hypothetical to begin with, but, like, just in general, my favorite kits that I would, like, never want to part with. And I would definitely say my RG Unicorn is one of them. I would say my RG Unicorn is one of them. But I don't want him to, I was about to say my other one would be RG Hainu. But I don't want them to all be real grades. I don't want both of them to be real grades. I was like, I'm more than this. I'm more than just real grades. I'm capable of appreciating other grades. And I'm curious what you guys would consider your, like, holy grail kits. Like, this is, if my house is burning down, this is the box I'm grabbing, no questions asked. And I would say, sentimentally, one of them would be a unicorn kit, because it's my favorite mobile suit. I like it. I like it. I don't want to lose. I would not want to lose one. Lose my unicorn. Any of them, but if I had to pick one. Oh, He's trapped. Wait, sorry, I must go open the door. Where I'm living, there's a dog now. There's a dog. The dog is currently, his name is Caboose. He's hanging out with me right now, but currently he's whining because he wants to leave, even though he made the decision to come in here, and foolishly did not consider that I would be streaming, and thus unable to get up for like an hour or two. But he's a dog and doesn't know this, so I must go and get up and open the door for him. So 1 second, I will be right back. Caboose! Wanna go outside? Let's go! What? Start to install the latest Windows update. I don't want to do that. I don't care about the latest Windows update. I will tell Caboose you love him. I love Caboose. He's just a little guy. He's a little... I say this, I need to preface, I say this completely affectionately. He's like he's a little crusty white dog. But I love Caboose. He's such a little guy. He's such a nice little guy. He's been released. Even though, you know, that's kind of on him for foolishly not considering that I would be streaming for like an hour or two and thus unable to open the door for him. But, you know, he's cute, so just this once, I will make an exception. I will interrupt so that I can open the door for him. But if he gets trapped again, that's on him. Anyhow, I'm thinking about what kits I would want to keep above all else. So I'm also thinking logistically, right? What kits could I easily replace? Is that even a thing I should think about? Am I overcomplicating this now? Is the other thing. Am I overcomplicating this now? Because I'm like, what kits could I easily replace? Because then at that point I'm thinking, okay, what kits have I customized? What are the kits that I've customized? Because obviously then, it's not that I only have to replace the gunpla, I have to repaint it too. It's like a whole thing now. But I'm also like, should I even count that as a factor? Should that even be factored in as a thing that I should consider? Or is it that's irrelevant? What if, in this scenario, should we all consider how easily replaceable a kit is? Because it's well, yeah, I have a couple of P Bandai kits. I've got a few P Bandai kits. Well, I can't exactly get those back. For my birthday, actually, recently, my friend got me one of the kits that I've always wanted, one of my gunpla of all time, which is the 7-Eleven collab, kits. I have a 7-Eleven RX-78 now. That thing is not, one, I got it as a gift, so it's not like I bought it to begin with, but even then, I'm it's not like I haven't been hunting for those kits myself for a while either. They're not exactly easy to get your hands on. So I'm should I just, on principle, go with my 7-Eleven RX-78? Because how am I going to ever replace an RX-78? But now this whole hypothetical only becomes, what kit is, I guess, the most rare or valuable in your collection? And I'm well, that's kind of not really what I was going for with this hypothetical. I'm thinking more about personal significance. So I will say, RX-78 7-Eleven RX-78 does qualify on personal significance because I've genuinely been hunting for that kit for a while. So I was like, okay. Just, it is also personally significant because it is beloved to me, not just because of its rarity. And like, I guess monetary value. It's simply more of a personal significance thing in that I love the 7-Eleven collab kits. I think they're amazing. I think they're amazing. I love the 7-Eleven collab kits. But so actually, on second thought, I think that would definitely be in there. My 7-Eleven RX-78, if I'm running out of a burning building and I can only save 2 Gunpla, 7-Eleven RX-78 is up there. Because I'm like, his shield has the 7-Eleven logo on it. Like, come on. How can I not love? I love, like, goofy. I love the goofy stuff. I really do. I really do. As evidenced by, I'm currently building Mr. Turn. Oh my god, this lighting's insane. Oh. Someday, I will get my external lights back, and I will... Do not worry. I'm trying to have my other, like, table set up as soon as possible. There's a chance I'll be streaming on this table again next week. But I'm trying to get my hobby room set up as soon as possible. That's definitely one of the things up there that I'm really trying to get set up because I want my hobby room. For context, the other thing is I now have roommates. I'm not living alone anymore. I now am living with other people, which is kind of crazy. It's not crazy. I've lived with my family. I've lived with a large-ish family my whole life. But, I don't know, man. I like living alone. I like living alone. That's another thing that I've been experiencing recently, is I've realized, like, how used to living alone I am. And that makes it sound really sad. I like living alone. It's not like I dislike it. I really do enjoy living by myself and just, like, vibing and having a good time. Like, I'm pretty introverted. I kind of really am obsessed with having my own space and my own time and being in my own thoughts and just, like, hanging out with myself. And, like, this is going to make me sound so sad, but I promise you it's not. And, like, it's not like I never visit my family. I do visit my family, and my family is nice. We all have dinner together, and it's a good time. But I would say, out of the year, maybe, like, 2 weeks even is kind of stretching it. If we're thinking about how many days of the year I spend, like, having dinner with my family. Because it's mostly just, like, holidays and occasions and things like that I would go back and have dinner with them for. And so, out of the year, that's maybe, like, 1 to 2 weeks. And 2 weeks is, like, a generous estimate. So, that is to say, and of course I also have friends. I like having dinner. I have friends, no need to worry. I do like eating with my friends. I love inviting people over. I like going out with people. We're gonna increase the amount of time I have dinner with other people to a lot more, because I do like hanging out with my friends. But, I don't know, I would say majority of the time I am, like, alone. Hello! Yeah. Majority of the time, I am alone, and so I like eating dinner by myself. Like, I'm someone that will go to restaurants by themselves. I have, like, 0 qualms about going to restaurants by myself. I actually like going to restaurants by myself, because I will just, like, pop in my headphones, order my food, and just, like, hang out. Like, it's fun. I enjoy going to restaurants alone. It's not something I do all the time because it's expensive. But from time to time, it's like a little treat. It's just like, go to a restaurant by yourself. But anyhow, I'm quite used to the OG Turn A. No, I haven't. This one is my very first Turn A kit. But someday I would like to. I think I just like, I love the design of Turn A. As I was mentioning before, I love the freaky looking, I love funny, like kind of gimmicky. I don't want to say super gimmicky, but I like funny kits. I like funky ones. I like maybe the ones that are not so traditionally cool looking. Because I do appreciate the more traditional cool looking kits. Like, of course, I think they look sick. The ones that just have like really cool and interesting armor and weapon designs and mechanics, obviously I appreciate them. But like the ones that like really imprint themselves in my heart are like honestly the kind of stupid looking ones. That's why I love like the design of Turn A so much. Genuinely, I love the design of Turn A so much. I'm also a big fan of like, I'm trying to think of the other ones that I like. Suddenly I've forgotten every single Gunpla ever. I I love funky. I love fun. Ugh. I love funny Gunpla. It's the best. But I do love Turn. And I would like to build some of the other ones. Okay. But for now I've just got this. I like it. But anyhow, I am again. I don't want this to seem bad, like sad or anything, but yeah, I feel like I'm pretty used to like eating alone and I enjoy it. Like, it's not like I dislike this and I'm sitting there and I'm miserable and I'm sad. Like, no, I just like my space and I still like spend a good chunk of my time. You know, I still regularly hang out with friends and family and people, but I'm used to like going home and being by myself and enjoying that. But now, I'm living with people. And so every day, not every day, but like most days, we have dinner together. Like we eat together. Like whenever we have tea time together. And it's like kind of it's a very interesting feeling for me. It's a very interesting feeling for me to just like experience this kind of like this just being my day-to-day, because even when I go back home and I have dinner with my family, that's like an occasion. I kind of really only go home for like occasions, you know, and like the days that I'm home will have, of course, my family, but like I'm not always there. I'm not always there. I've already like moved out and kind of have my own life, so I'm like, okay. But yeah, it's been fun though. Like, I don't know, man. I'm learning to like enjoy living with people again, because I think I just had some like pretty awful roommates in college. I just had some pretty terrible college roommates and I was just like, this sucks. I hate living with people. And also when I was younger, obviously I didn't exactly super enjoy living with my family. Hence why I moved out. But also, I've always considered myself someone that enjoys being alone, which is true. I still do think this. I still am like that, I guess. But it's been kind of fun to like relearn how to live with people, I guess. Which kind of makes me sound like an insane person now that I think about it. But it's true though. It's been a while since I've like had to live with other people. And I've just like enjoyed living alone so much that because I was lucky enough to not need roommates for the past several years. Like, it's been at least 4 or 5 years. Like, even when I was dorming, I had a single room, or at least for the last couple years of it. And so I've just gotten really used to living alone. I've just gotten pretty used to living alone. And thus, it's just kind of funky that I now feels like I have to relearn how to live with people. But I've really actually quite been enjoying it. maybe that's what happens when you live with people you actually like. Because I've moved in with people I actually like, not just like strangers that my school has assigned me. Though to be fair, one of my awful roommates was someone I considered my friend at the time. Oh my god, that's like a whole story for its own time. My awful college roommate. I will briefly recap my awful college roommate. Because in a funny way, she's part of how I got into, like, some of my hobby stuff and, like, model kits and whatnot. Because I ended up disliking her so much. And I was kind of forced into quieter hobbies a little bit because of her. Not, like, forced. I already did, like, enjoy model kits. But I was forced to kind of experience them more because she was insane. That girl was crazy. She was like, again, I don't want to talk too badly about her because apparently some of why she was like that was because she had like certain medical issues and whatnot. And obviously, I'm not here to like blame people for their own medical problems, but I am here to blame her for like being so mean to people. Like, she was so mean to me. Oh my god, he's got little his little heels are... Damn. Yeah. He's got... Oh my god. We're gonna zoom in and see if this lighting will even remotely cooperate with me so we can look at his little shoes. I love his little heels. And they do have, like, some movement, which is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with, like, for a high grade, for like, a solid... To have, like, any movement at all without just falling apart is impressive to me. But I like his little foot design. It's more, like, traditional. Again, it just looks like a high heel. This, I'm not gonna lie, like, these are shoes that I would wear. I'm not gonna lie, these are kind of shoes that I would wear. Good for you, Mr. Turnay. Good for you, Turnay. But, yeah. What was the middle say? Oh, I was talking about my awful roommate I've had previously. Yeah, I don't want to talk too bad about her because she did have medical problems, but honestly, like, I feel like it was kind of on her for, like, so one of her problems included she couldn't sleep with the lights off. She had to sleep with the lights on. And again, she signed up to be in a college dorm with 2 other people. And yet is a person who cannot sleep with the lights off. Beautiful. The other foot. She couldn't sleep with the lights off, which is already, like, again, also something she didn't tell us until we'd already moved in. And I'm like, I feel like that is definitely something that would have impacted our decision making a little bit. Not to mention, like, so most dorms, like, I'm assuming, you know, all dorms have, like, imposed quiet hours. You know, I think, if I recall, my buildings was, like, on weekdays, it's 11 p.m., and on weekends, it's 1 a.m., was when you kind of had to be quiet. Those are the quiet hours. But she wanted to institute dorm-specific, like, room-specific quiet hours. And it's not just, like, keep it down. It's, like, dead silent. She's like, I want to hear 0 noise after 6 p.m. Like, I'm not even joking you. She's like, on weekdays, it's, like, 6 or 7 p.m. Dead silent. No noise. And I'm like, need to sleep with the... Yeah! Like, sleep... No. Like, not like a nightlight. I could have lived with a nightlight. No, I mean, like, our overhead room lights. Like, the full-on, like, room lights. She had to sleep with them on. I could have lived with, like, a nightlight. Like, that would have been whatever. But I'm talking, like, full-on overhead lights. Like, it was crazy. I'm like, what? And so me and my other roommate, who was significantly nicer, by the way, our other roommate, we kind of just had to cope, and that was kind of, yeah. That's what I'm saying. And, like, she wanted dead silence in our room after 7 p.m. on weekdays, and I had to haggle with her for up to, like, 11:30 on weekends. Like, basically, I could not stay up past 11:30 on weekends. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Because she was the kind of person that, like, when she means quiet, it's like, I would take a phone call. I'd get a phone call from my brother at 8 or 9 p.m. And I would be on the opposite end of the room, like, talking quiet, like, nearly whispering to him over the phone. And she would get mad at me for, like, taking a phone call in her presence. I'm like, girl, this is a shared room. She's like, if you want to take a phone call, do it outside. And I'm like, should I just take every single phone call in, like, full public? Like, that's just in the hallway? Are you insane? And thus, at the time, like, I really liked playing games with my friends. Like, for me, like, a regular weekend activity was just get on Discord and play games with my friends. And so, obviously, she would get mad at me when I did that. And, like, yeah, playing games is, like, one of my primary hobbies. It still is one of my primary hobbies, but, like, it was especially so at the time. And I was like, okay, I'm going insane. I need to do something. And I already liked model kits at that point, but I was like, well, this is a hobby that I can just, like, she literally, like, cannot possibly complain about this. Like, she cannot possibly complain. Like, it got to the point, she was, like, mad at me to the point where she was, like, calling in the RAs. We had to have, like, RA mediation. And you could tell even the RA was like, what the heck is wrong? Like, what's happening? And it was so ridiculous. But I was like, she cannot possibly be mad at me for doing this. Because it's literally just like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do build my funny little robots, and I'm just going to have my headphones in and I'm just going to hang out. Like, you cannot possibly be upset at me for this. Because God forbid I want to sleep past 11 p.m. I want to stay up past 11 p.m. on a weekend. Yeah, it was awful. Plus, this is kind of just petty on my part. Plus, she almost exclusively ate, like, candy and microwave bacon. Which, again, your diet is your prerogative. I'm not your mom. But it is my problem when I have to sit there, because fun fact, cannot stand the smell of bacon. It smells awful to me. Like, if it's, like, too strong, like it was how our room was when she would constantly make microwave bacon in my to be clear, this is my microwave that I brought. And it would just, the whole room would smell like I would get nauseous. Like, I cannot stand the smell of bacon. Like, it is just terrible. And I'm talking about pork bacon. I like turkey bacon. It's pretty nice. It smells completely different, and I can enjoy it. But pork bacon, just like regular, I absolutely cannot stand it. Like, it makes me nauseous. I cannot do it. And so our room would constantly smell like freaking microwave bacon, and I would just Febreze the hell out of our room every time. And I would do it as obnoxiously as possible, obviously. Because I'm like, I can't live like this. Terrible. And that's just the tip of the iceberg with how awful she was. So, moral of this story is that you truly can never know people. Because she's someone that was, like, I was friends with my first year, which is why I agreed to be her roommate for second year. Like, I knew her already. We were friends. And I agreed to be her roommate because I already knew her. And I was like, okay, how bad can this possibly be? bad. The answer, bad. But luckily, my roommates now are very nice, and I like them all, and it's a good time. And I am having a good time. I really am. And one of them is also into Gunpla, so now we're like, oh god, our collective piles. Terrible. We're all into Gunpla, so we all have piles. Though mine is by far the worst. Mine is by far the worst. It's bad, but I'm having fun. I am still like, I mentioned this before, I'm still watching House MD. I'm still kind of addicted to House MD. I'm like I think I'm like more than halfway done with season 3. I'm more than halfway done with season 3, and it's I'm starting to get the dip in quality that people talk about when it comes to House, because it's like, yeah, the first couple seasons are good, but then there's like a dip in quality, and I am seeing that. I'm seeing that in real time a little bit. What the heck is on my hand? I think that's marker. I was like, did I injure myself? No. I think it's just marker. It's definitely not the color. It's definitely the color of marker and not the color of injury. Oh my god, Caboose. Back. Hi, Caboose. Hello. Oh. That's it. The other thing that's very new to me is I've never had, like, pets. I grew up, my mom is allergic to, like, my mom was allergic to most animals. My mom was allergic to most animals. So, the only pets I was allowed to have growing up were, like, fish and plants. Which, you know, there's only so many tricks you can teach a goldfish. There's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do. And I'm actually a big fan of reptiles, and I desperately wanted like a reptile pet, which she could not possibly be allergic to, but she hates reptiles, so I never got to have one. So I never really had like a traditional pet growing up besides like goldfish. But obviously, I was a child who raised goldfish, so none of those things lasted more than 6 months. And so it's kind of funky that now there's a dog here. Caboose isn't my dog. I do not take responsibility. I mean, I do. Like, obviously, I help take care of Caboose, but like, I don't know. It's still kind of funky to just like always have dog around. He's just there. We're just hanging out. I like pets. I like other people's pets. I think they're fun. I've always wanted a cat though. Someday I would like to petition to get a cat here. So I don't know how that would work out because Caboose already lives here and Caboose is a dog. So I'm like, ooh, how's that gonna work out? But he's pretty chill, so I'm like, I feel like it could. I feel like it could work out. Because he's pretty chill. So I feel like we could definitely make it work. I feel like we could definitely work. Am I doing this like back? I don't think so. No. It's supposed to be like this. I'm just not pressing it at all. That's what's happening. That's the problem. Also, heads up. Streaming in this space is like not ideal, and I still have a lot to do. So I'm not cutting the stream now, but I will cut it a bit early. I will be cutting it early. I'm probably not going to stay till 1 o'clock because I just have a lot of things that I have to do. And also, the setup is really not ideal. It is really not ideal. I am still like dead exhausted from just like I've just for the past week I've been moving things nonstop. I've been hauling boxes and putting things together and taking things to be donated and doing all of that, and it's being is so hard. And now that I'm here, now I have to do the other half, which is unpack everything, which I'm not even remotely close to done with. So far, I've basically like unpacked the bare minimum, and I'm starting to unpack. Like I've unpacked like most of my kitchen stuff and like my like day-to-day things that I use, but everything else is still like packed in boxes. I have not sorted it. I haven't done like my figures are in a pile. It's just like a stack of boxes that are just sitting there, and I haven't touched them. I haven't touched them since I brought them here because I just haven't had time to deal with it. I'm still dealing with so many other things. So I'm kind of just like, I'm so exhausted, but but I still wanted to stream today because I was on hiatus for a little bit, and I don't like being on hiatus for too long. It makes me sad. I like streaming. It makes me happy, but alas, it does not regenerate my energy. And how I've just been doing manual labor and unpacking and running around and figuring out where things go and what I want to do for a while. It's kind of funny. The last few days in my apartment, so I think I mentioned my apartment handoff was on Wednesday, but we'd moved all of my furniture out the weekend before. Because it was just easier that I could have people helping me so that we could do it on a weekend, and also for me too. So if we did it on a weekend. But the weekend before is when we already moved all of my furniture, but I was still there for a few more days just to like organize the last of my things and facilitate the handoff and do all of that. And so the last few days in my apartment was truly like me living in an r/male living spaces. Like my apartment was like empty, save for like some odds and ends and a bunch of like cardboard boxes. And I just had like an air mattress. There was just me in my like near empty bedroom on an air mattress. And also I had my anime body pillow because it is very important to me. I like cannot sleep properly without it. It's so bad. But I love it. I love that thing. Thank you, Hana, for gifting it to me as a housewarming gift, actually, for my apartment that I just moved out of. But now I have it in my new place. And it's very fun. But I might post this image just because I posted on my Twitter. I don't know what I did. I might have posted it on my Blue Sky, which I have been using, by the way. I'm active on Blue Sky. But I suppose that's somewhat unaffiliated. But I am active on Blue Sky because I think I like kind of can't stand Twitter right now. I can sometimes use Twitter desktop because I have a bunch of extensions that I add to like make it more usable. I have like 4 layers of ad blockers and pop-up blockers and like another couple of extensions specifically for Twitter to like make the interface actually usable. When I'm on mobile, I can't even look at Twitter. It's awful. I can't even use Twitter when I was not supposed to cut this out. I was only supposed to cut at 16. I'm kind of an idiot. That's fine. This is okay. I was only supposed to cut out this one. That's fine. This one can be put over there for now. And I get the bee runner, which is this one. I cut out B2. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I like can't stand Twitter. I cannot open Twitter without getting like 16 crypto ads before even seeing a single piece of content from someone I follow. It's awful. Like the app is unusable. And it's just like AI, it's like use our Twitter AI, invest in this like scam coin, follow this crypto bro, become a Republican. Like that's it. That's everything that's on Twitter, and I just have to look at all that before I can even see a single like piece of content from someone that I actually follow. And I'm like, and again, I don't use the Discover tab. I refuse to use it because is a cesspool. But I only use the following tab, and yet this still happens. And so I've been having fun. I like Blue Sky. It's pretty neat. I've got a few feeds. If people are into it, actually, because I follow a bunch of like Gunpla related feeds and whatnot. I follow a bunch of like Gunpla and Model Kit related feeds. Like a lot of what I'm engaging with right now is mostly like Gunpla and hobby based, because I just think it's fun. I just think it's been fun. I want to try and be more active. I've never been particularly good at like actually being active on social media. But I want to try. I believe in myself a little bit, and I want to try. This is B2. Is this not the right B2? But this is B2. That's exactly what I just cut out. Is there a different B2 that I'm supposed to do? Oh no, it's just showing me this side. Okay. We're looking at this side. And there's stickers I can put here. What are the stickers it wants me to... How the heck does that even... Oh, I know now. Where's my tweezers? But Blue Sky's great. Blue Sky's a really fun time. I may go more in depth about it at some point. But feel free to engage with me over there, because I'm somewhat active there. I'm trying to be better at like actually being active on social media. As someone who like enjoys streaming, I'm like, I really should at least try and be even mildly good at this. I should really try and even be like mildly good at this, because people that like constantly post and whatnot and are like really up with it, I'm like, oh my god, that's not me. That's not me. I'm not very good at posting, doing like having things out regularly, like even streaming. I have a contractually obligated schedule, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I love that for this stream, I literally have a contractually obligated schedule, and thus I will actually follow it. On my personal, it's bad. I'm not at all consistent, and I want to be. And I am trying, but not really, because I'm moving, and it makes everything difficult. But once I have like my more dedicated space for it all set up, and once things are like a little more settled with me, I think I will put a more earnest to it. And I think it will be more effective. But for the most part, yeah, we're working on it. I'm not particularly active, but I am trying to be. I'm definitely more active on Blue Sky than I am on Twitter. That is for sure. I think on Twitter right now, I kind of just use it to post. Hey guys. And I really only just check it once in a while, because there's other like streamers and other artists that I like that really only use Twitter, and I'm like, okay, I'll only use this to like check on them and see what they're up to and all of that. put the sticker? Where is... What? My tweezers? Good, we're good. Yeah. This guy's pretty neat. If you're curious, I want to say... What even... Is that a thing I can do? Will Heather kill me for that? Would Heather kill me for that? For promoting my own blue sky? But I may do it anyway. But oh, phone screen. Phone screen. This is truly the most scuffed way I could possibly do this. Well, try not to reveal personal information. I'm not. It's okay. But there's me. I'm here. I use this. I use it somewhat regularly. Not somewhat. I do try. I posted my r/male living spaces setup. My phone's already open. We're already doing this scuffed phone reveal, phone viewing. This is what my room looked like for a little while. This is just how I was living for a little bit. It was very funny. It felt very funny. Wow. What have I been doing since I went on hiatus? I've man, I've fallen off. I'm kidding. You can't fall off when you have, I don't know. I didn't exactly have a long distance to fall off from, but I'm trying. I used to be, I just haven't really had time to like keep track of the things I'm doing, which is something I actively do try to do. I like keeping track of things. I like having things to talk about, and I like knowing what I want to talk about, and like at least trying to somewhat be structured. Not structured, but like not just like, I guess, aimless? Aimless is also not a good way to put it. It's always aimless. I'm just here to build Gunpla and have a good time. But I want to be a little bit more, I guess, like, organized? Organized is a better way to put it. Wow. And put more effort into, like, the things that I put out into the world, you know? I do. But I haven't been super on top of it. That's because I've just had a lot happening. And that's simply how the cookie crumbles. But I honestly feel very, I guess, optimistic. I guess optimistic is the word for this. I feel very nice about moving, actually. I know I just said I feel bittersweet about it, which I still do, but the sweet part is that I actually feel quite nice about being somewhere new. I'm like changing a lot of things about my life and how I've been living, and I haven't exactly been like the most satisfied with how I've been living before, and it's kind of nice to be doing something different and being able to experience that. This is this way, and this goes in here as we're building legs right now. Go. And which is the sea runner? That's the other blue one. It's this one. But yeah, most part, I'm like, I want to have like more concise, I want to have like more thought out words for this than just like, yep, I feel good. Because it is more complicated than, I want to like, I don't know, something about moving is kind of just like, and being in a new place is kind of just like giving me a rush of serotonin that I haven't had in a long time. And I'm just like feeling very motivated to like actually do things with my life. Not that I haven't been before, like, but I don't know. I've been motivated to do things I haven't done in a while. Like, I have not to be too real about it, but you know, I'm a person that struggled with mental health for a long time. It's nothing new, it's nothing crazy serious, but it's just like a thing that has been a part of my life for a long time. And it's like, again, I don't want to be like too insane and too like sentimental about these things. At least publicly. That's for me and my therapist. Like, speaking of my therapist, I have like had the motivation to like actually go see one. I know I joke about it, but I haven't seen a therapist in a while. Because I just like have not had it in me to figure all that out. Plus a lot of ongoing nonsense with my insurance because the American health industry is insane. Like I don't super like talking about current events. And I don't think Heather likes me doing that either. Actually, I don't know what Heather feels about it, but at least questionable things like this. The healthcare industry really has been experiencing a lot, and that's what I will say. What I will say is that I am not at all, like, I'm not surprised that it happened. I will not specify any further, but I will say I'm not entirely surprised. Especially if you look at, I saw an article that posted a chart of insurance companies ranked by what percentage of claims they deny, and UHC was number one with 32% of all claims being denied. Like, that's insanity. Like, that's actual insanity. I cannot look at those numbers and be silly, cannot. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. But it is what it is, quite simply. But anyhow, I'm like, oh my god, I made an appointment to go see a therapist. I'm like doing it. I'm doing it. I might even be medicated again. This is like fantastic. This is great. I'm like doing things. It's still crazy to me how I've gotten through any amount of college because I was medicated. I have ADHD. I was medicated for a little while, but then something happened to my insurance and I wasn't able to get my medication anymore, and I just like didn't fix it. That was on me partially. It was definitely on my insurance. It was also on me for like not super pursuing getting it fixed. But now I have. My insurance is fine now, and I may even be able to be medicated again. And I was on ADHD meds for a little while, and I'm like, really? I forget sometimes that I have like, that I'm like, oh my god, why are things so difficult for me sometimes? And then I remember sometimes that I'm like, oh, because things are difficult. But I'm very happy. I'm very much looking forward to like this new part of my life. And I'm glad that I'm in an environment where my hobbies and things can still be like fully embraced in my life. And if anything, hopefully I will have like I want to like there's so many projects and things that I want to tackle with my hobby stuff that I'm really hoping that I will now have like the space and the mental capacity to like actually fulfill. I'm very excited. There's definitely like I a lot of my like painting stuff I don't like do on stream too much, my custom stuff, but I have so many unfinished projects, it's crazy. I have so many unfinished painting projects that are just like half finished. And I just like have not finished them. And I'm like, why not? Why not? Plus, something that I'm also thinking about is even taking commissions for custom stuff. I kind of have no idea how to go about that even remotely, but I want to like at least look into it and see what my process would be and like what my avenues would be and like what it's looking like. And again, it's not something that would be like to support myself with, but just like a thing that I want to pursue for fun, more or less. And I'm like, I think that would be neat. But also, I have a lot of my own custom projects that I want to finish that I like started and I really like the concept of that, but I just kind of never saw it to fruition because sometimes I kind of lost my creative concept with it. I lost the motivation, or it's like just a little bit outside of my skill set, my existing skill set. But I'm like, I could learn, I could get better, but I don't. And I'm really happy that I have like an environment that can still support my hobbies and like the things that I want to do with it. And it's pretty neat. Pretty neat. Speaking of which, this is not even remotely related. We've gotten a good way through his legs, but I think this is a good point for me at which to call it. Hopefully, I feel like I want to apologize for being like so all over the place and not being very not structured, but not being very like. Not that I'm ever particularly hinged about how I stream and how I talk, but I like to think I put a little more effort into like being organized and like being consistent, and I feel like I've just kind of been all over the place and kind of just like not put a lot of effort into like actually being fun and entertaining to listen to. I've kind of just been like actually talking very personally, which I fear is boring. Which I fear is boring. And that's fine. But hopefully next week when I'm like less exhausted and I'm not sure if I'll have my hobby room together enough to stream by next week. But I at least want to be somewhere with it. And if not, we'll be back at this table. I will be at this table. That's not quite as good, but we're trying. But hopefully I will be like I will be more capable. I'll be more capable. But anyhow, thank you all for tuning in and watching me work on Mr. Turn A. He's got feet. He's got a thigh. I want to say this is probably a single thigh. He's almost got a leg. He's almost got a leg. We're getting there. But that's cool. I'm happy. I love Turn A Gundam. I'm looking forward to finishing it. And hopefully I will get to experience more of the Turn A Gundam kits. I think they're neat. And yeah, I will be back next week to continue Turn Gundam. And that will be that. And hopefully I will have things a little more straightened out. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But one step at a time is what I'm thinking. One step at a time is what I'm thinking. But anyhow, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you had fun regardless. And I shall see you all next week. I hope you had a fun... I hope you have a nice rest of your weekend. It's quite cold, so... At least in the northern hemisphere. In the northeast, it is quite cold. So wear your jackets. I shall see you all next week. Bye-bye!